Hi everyone, good afternoon to all of you. Welcome to UN Digital Class. Today I am going to present on business and corporate law. So on today's discussion we are going to discuss on a chapter that is relating to business and corporate law, which is offer and acceptance. So relating to offer and acceptance, we must have to know what you mean by offer, what is the definition as per Indian Contract Act relating to offer, what are the types of offer and what are the rules relating to offer. Then accordingly, what is acceptance, the definition of acceptance and what are the rules relating to acceptance. Offer. So what is meant by offer? Offer, it is otherwise known as proposal. A proposal is defined as when one person signifies to another his willingness to do or to abstain from doing anything with a view to obtaining the assent of that other to such act or abstinence, he is said to make a proposal. So this is defined under section 2 subsection A of Indian Contract Act. So offer means when a proposal given by one party to another with a view to obtaining the assent or with a view to refuse to do something. In that case, when the proposal that is accepted by the other, in that case that is called as offer. That means one person signifies his assent or approval to another either to do something or refuse to do something or to reject something, and with a view to getting the assent of that other to whom the proposal is made. In that case, when it is completed, that is called as offer or that is otherwise known as proposal, which is defined or prescribed under section 2 subsection A of Indian Contract Act. A proposal is an expression of will or intention. That means when the person gives his willingness or desire to another, in that case there is an expression of will or intention made by one party to another either to do something or to refuse to do something. Then we are going to discuss the types of offer or the kinds of offer. It is basically divided into two parts, that is how offer is made, and the second one is to whom the offer is made. Under how offer is made, that is either express offer or implied offer. To whom the offer is made, either that is general offer or specific offer. That means an offer may be made to particular person or particular group or a body of person, then the public at large or the whole world. So we will discuss everything one by one. So relating to express and implied offer, when an offer is expressed by words spoken or written, it is termed as a express offer. So express means when one person signifies his approval to another or express his intention to another through spoken words or through written words, that is called as a express offer. But implied offer, that is made through the behavior or conduct of the parties by whom the offer or the proposal is made to another to signify his assent either to do something or to refuse to do something. So implied offer means an offer made by conduct when one person allows the other to perform certain acts. Under such circumstances, nobody will accept them without consideration, then it will amount to an offer by conduct, and the permission of the party who is benefited by such performance will amount to his acceptance. Such acceptance will be asked to pay for it. So express offer is made either through spoken words or written communication, and implied offer that is made through the behavior or conduct of both the parties. So there is one example of implied offer. A bus company runs buses between India Gate to Kashmir Gate. There is implied offer from the bus company to take any person on the route who is prepared to pay the prescribed fare. The offer will be said to be accepted by the passenger as soon as he takes a seat in the bus. So implied means there is the behavior or conduct of both the parties. When the bus moves from India Gate to Kashmir Gate, in that case the person will also go from India Gate to Kashmir Gate, those who wants to go or those who desires, whose willingness is to go from India Gate to Kashmir Gate, then they will avail the bus facility. So when bus takes the passenger from one destination to another destination. At the time of reaching that particular destination, in that case the passengers, those will go, their duty is to pay the bus fare to the bus conductor or to the bus owner. So this is a case of implied offer. A bid at an auction is an implied offer to buy. Similarly, consuming eatable at a self-service restaurant both create implied promise to pay for the benefits enjoyed. So there is another type of offer, that is positive offer and a negative offer. A person may express his willingness to do something or to abstain from doing something. So when one person signifies his willingness or desire to do something, that is a case of positive offer, and when that is abstain to do something, that is a case of a negative offer. So one example, it may be an offer to construct a wall to provide privacy, or not to construct a wall so that a free passage of light and air may not be obstructed. So this is one example of a positive and a negative offer. The offer is also specific offer or general offer. So when offer is made to a particular person or group of person or body of person, that is called as a specific offer. General offer, when an offer is addressed to the whole world at large, that is called a general offer. So general offer is open to all. When the proposal is made to the whole world or indicating the whole world at large, that is called as a general offer. So there is some essentials or the rules regarding a valid offer. The rules are, first one is, the offer must be made with a view to obtain the assent of the other party. So in every cases offer, when it is made, that means one party signifies his intention or willingness to another either to do something or not to do something. So in order to obtain the approval of the other party, the offer must be made. Without approval, that is not called as a valid offer. So when proposal is made by the one party, in that case the other party must show his intention either to accept it or reject it, and that is a case of assent or approval of the other party. The second one is, the offer must be made with the intention to create legal relationship. So offer always create legal relationship. If there is no legal relationship, in that case that is not called as a valid offer. So that means when one person or two friends, they gives offer to each other to dine at a particular party or to dine at a particular place. In that case, suppose one person fails to arrange that, then other person cannot say or file a case against that person who fails to make that proper arrangement, because this is a friendly relation with each other and that does not create any type of a legal relationship. So offer, when it is create a valid legal relationship, that is called as a valid offer. Then the third essentials, the terms of the offer must be certain, definite and not vague or unambiguous, or capable of being made certain. The terms of the offer must not be loose, vague or ambiguous. So there is one leading case which is made, Taylor versus a Pottington. So that means offer must be certain. That must be certainty of making the proposal by one party to another, or that must be definite and that is not vague or illegal. So when any type of illegal or vague type proposal is made, or there is no certainty regarding the proposal when it is made, or there is no definite relating to the proposal is made, in that case that is not called as a valid offer. The fourth one is, an offer must be distinguished from mere declare of intention, or second one is, invitation to offer is not an offer. So when offer is made, in that case one party signifies his willingness to other either to do something or not to do something, but an offer cannot be distinguished from mere intention. That means when one person only shows his mere intention to other party to do something or not to do, in that case mere intention is not called as a valid offer, or invitation to offer is also not called as a valid offer. That means when one body wants to purchase a dress from a particular shopping mall, in that case shopping mall, when that particular dress with price tag that is hanged at the front of the particular shop, in that case there is a case of invitation to offer. That means that particular shopkeeper or the particular mall invites the person to enter into the shopping mall or purchase the dress, but that is not particular to that dress. So that is only to show the intention or to invite the person to enter to the shopping mall, but that is not called as a one type of a valid offer. That means invitation to offer is not as a valid offer. An auctioneer at the time of auction invites offer from the would be bidders, he is not making a proposal. So that means only shows the declaration. The auctioneer declares that to make the or to participate in the bid. So in that case, that is not making a good proposal. A display of goods with price on them in a shop window is constructed an invitation to offer, or that is not an offer to sell. That means the shopkeeper display the goods with price tag at the shopkeeper window or shop window, and when it is hand or it is tagged with the window, in that case that is an invitation to offer, and invitation to offer is not a valid offer, or that is not an offer to sell. Then the next one is offer must be communicated to the offeree. So in case of offer, there are two parties. One is the person who makes the proposal, who is called as offerer, or another one is the person to whom the proposal is made, he is called as offeree. So always offer communicate to the offeree, or offerer must show his intention either to do or not to do and to the offeree. So when the communication is made between the two parties, that means offerer and offeree, that is called as a valid offer. Without any communication from offerer to offeree, in that case there is no offer. Then the sixth point, it may be conditional. In certain cases, offer is taken to conditional offer. So when offer is based upon certain condition, in that case it can also be made with that particular condition. Then lapse of offer. So there are certain grounds we will discuss in a later case. There is lapse of offer. That means when offer comes to an end. So basing upon different grounds, the offer comes to an end. Either the offerer or offeree dies, or the particular time period is over, or that is not fulfilled, or the terms condition is not fulfilled. Everything is there. We will discuss in our later slides. So there is certain cases when that case occurs. In that case, that is called as lapse of offer, or offer comes to end. The next point is invitation to offer is not an offer. So when offer is made through invitation, that is not called as a valid offer. So that is invitation to offer is not as an offer. So the next one is offer should not contain the term non-compliance of which would amount to acceptance. That means one cannot say that when offer is made and that is not accepted within a reasonable time, the person cannot blame, or the person cannot consider that that is a valid offer. So it should not contain any type of a confusion or a non-compliance. When it should contain that type of a non-compliance, that is not called as a valid offer. So always offer should not contain any type of a non-compliance at the time of making the proposal. So there are certain grounds when an offer comes to end or lapse of an offer. The first one is an offer is made with view to obtain the assent. As soon as the offer is accepted, that becomes a valid contract. But before it is accepted, it may lapse or it may revoked. Also, the offeree may reject the offer, and in that case, the offer comes to end. So when the offer is accepted by the offeree, then in that case a valid contract is formed. But at the time of rejection by the offeree, or during the time period over, it is not accepted, then in that case the offer comes to end, or that is a case of a lapse of an offer. Second one is the offer lapses after the stipulated or a reasonable time. So offer must be made with a particular time. If there is no time is mentioned, that must have been made within a reasonable time. So when that reasonable time or stipulated time period over, in that case the offer also lapses. Then an offer lapses by the death or insanity of the offerer or offeree before acceptance. So before acceptance of the proposal or offer, if offerer or offeree, any of the dies or declared as insolvent or insanity, in that case the offer lapses. Then the next one is an offer terminates when rejected by the offeree. So when offeree rejects the offer, in that case the offer also comes to end. An offer terminates when revoked by the offer before acceptance. So when it is revoked by the offerer, in that case also that is not accepted by the offeree, or that is not called as a valid offer. Next one is an offer terminates by not being accepted in the mode prescribed, or if no mode is there, some usual mode or a reasonable manner. So offer always made with a prescribed mode. If that mode is not prescribed, that is made within a reasonable mode. But if there is no such type of a reasonable manner or the mode or the usual mode, when it is not made, in that case the offer comes to end. Conditional offer terminates when the condition is not accepted by the offeree. In certain cases, offer is based upon certain condition, and when it is based upon certain condition, that is called as a conditional offer. So when the condition is not accepted by the offeree, in that case the offer also comes to end. And in other cases, there is one case that is called as a counter offer. That means when already one offer is made, that is cancelled, again that is taken into consideration, that is called as a counter offer. But counter offer, when it is made, that is called as a lapse of an offer. So what are the grounds? There is a case of a termination of an offer. An offer lapses after stipulated or a reasonable time period. That means when time period overs or reasonable time is there, that comes to end. In that case, the offer terminated. The second one is an offer lapses by the death or insanity of the offerer or the offeree before acceptance. So if any of the person dies or declared as insolvent, in that case the offer terminated. So when offer lapses or rejected, the offer is also terminated. When it is revoked, that is also the ground termination of offer. In case of a counter offer, it is also terminated. If it terminates by not being accepted with a reasonable mode or a prescribed mode, in that case also there is a case of a termination of offer. A conditional offer also terminates when the condition is not accepted. So what is counter offer? Rejection of the original offer and making the new offer. This new offer is called as a counter offer. That means when already the original offer is rejected and after that making a new offer on that particular rejection or the original offer, so that new offer is known as counter offer. There is one example which is made, there is a case study, Case Hyde versus Range. That means sell farms for rupees 1,000 pounds, counter offer for 950. That means already the proposal is made on 1,000 pounds, later on that is rejected and again that is made 950 pounds. So in that case there is a case of a counter offer. Next one is invitation to offer. An offer must be distinguished from invitation to offer. A prospectus issued by a company for subscription of its share by the members of the public is an invitation offer. That means the company shows its intention to offer share to the public. So that is a case of a invitation. That means the prospectus is also issued at the time of a subscription to the shareholders or to the general public for subscription. So when the prospectus is issued, that is a case of invitation to offer. That means the letter of offer issued by the company to the shareholders or the existing shareholder is an offer. The next is the offer must be communicated to the offeree. Always in case of an offer, there are two parties, offerer and offeree, and always the proposal is made from or communicated from offerer to the offeree. That means from whom the proposal is made to whom the proposal is given. An offer must be communicated to the offeree before it can be accepted. So before it can accepted, the communication must be made from the offerer to the offeree. This is true of specific as well as a general offer. So that means that is a case of a general offer. The next one is the offer must not contain the term of a non-compliance of which is assumed to acceptance. That means one cannot say that if the offer is not accepted within a reasonable time, it will be assumed that that will be accepted. So that is called as a non-compliance, and that non-compliance should not contain in case of a valid offer, that is assumed to be acceptance. So what is cross offer? Where two parties make identical offers to each other in ignorance of each other's offer, that is known as cross offer. That means the two parties makes the proposal or makes the offer, but that offer seems to identical or same, and there is ignorance of each other's offer. Nobody knows that who makes that type of offer. So when that identical with each other without any ignorance or with ignorance, that is known as a cross offer. Neither of the two can be called an acceptance of the other. So in that case, neither of that two parties, they can be called acceptance of the other, and therefore there will be no contract relating to that offer. So that is already called as a cross offer. So this is our today's class relating to offer. We have discussed what is offer, what are the types of offer, what are the essentials relating to a valid offer, and when offer is terminated or comes to end, or there is a case of a lapse on an offer. In our next class, we will discuss acceptance and what are the rules relating to a valid acceptance. Thank you all. Have a good day.